So another material type here is a test and quiz. And the test and quiz, you can just start by giving it a name, give it a due date, set the points, add the grading category, and then you can, again, decide do you want to publish it to students. Does this individually assign to specific groups or individuals? And then this copy to courses button. It's disabled to me because I don't have questions created and I only have one course. But if you see this little clipboard icon here and it's something you can select, that will allow you to put the same test or quiz assigned to multiple courses, so you don't have to recreate it a bunch of times. So it'll save you that trouble. Once you added the basic information for the test or quiz, you get to the point where you can start adding questions to it. So you have several different question types, and I won't go through all of these because they're pretty straightforward. There's really just one of them that gets a little tricky at times, and it's this fill in the blank question type. And basically, the reason it kind of trips people up is it's the number of underscores that you put in the sentence that determines how many blanks there are. So a lot of times, a lot of teachers will try to make a long line here, which would make sense because it just looks like a blank. But for every underscore that I typed, it created a separate blank. And that's not really necessary. So I only wanted there to be one word filled in, so I only need one underscore. So you see it updates and now there's one blank. I can, if I wanted to, add additional answer choices that are acceptable. And I know this looks a little odd right now with this very tiny blank, but it looks normal from the student view when they go to respond. So with every question type, as you're building a quiz or a test, there are specific settings that you'll want to select before saving. So certain questions, if they can get partial credit, if there's more than one part to the question, you can allow partial credit. You can assign a word bank here too if they think they'll need that. Make sure the answer is case sensitive. If it's maybe like a language question or something, you can make it case sensitive or decide if you want it to be timed. Set the number of points for the question, and then you can create that question. So the question types that you have true, false, multiple choice, ordering, an essay type question, fill in the blank, and matching. You can actually add questions that you've written, add it to a question bank if it's something you want to be able to pull from later on. That way you can pull it from question bank right here. Typically we don't import tests or quizzes. This would be Schoology specific tests or quizzes. You can add page breaks if you think that there's going to be a point where the students will need to stop at a page break. And you can add just a text box to go maybe some directions or something before a set of questions. The options drop-down menu will allow you to add more questions to the bank that you've written here all at once, or reorder your questions. And if you reorder them, there'll just be a little arrow and you can drag and drop the order here. The quiz and test settings are important to look at before publishing. There's a lot of them here, so make sure you take the time to really look through this. You can set some instructions. You can decide, are submissions enabled? So are you ready for the students to start taking this test or quiz? Do you want to set, enable until, and then maybe they can't respond after a certain time? So I'll take this until Friday at whatever time it may be. So I'll say 2:30 p.m. I don't want any weekend submissions. Time limit, you decide, do you want them to have a time limit? Attempt limit, how many times can they take this? Randomize the order of the questions. Page break, do you want there to be using page breaks or no? Can they review their answers before they submit? It just kind of allowing them to kind of change a few things. If there were answers on other pages, you want them to be able to go back to them. This is the huge one, resumable. Make sure that you select yes for this for whatever reason, whether it be, an issue with the wireless or just the student's device. If they get kicked out of that test or that quiz and you didn't make it resumable, it just submits it, and then you have to manually go and unsubmit their test, and it's a pain. So if you just make it resumable, it's saving their progress as they go, and then they can just sign back in and resume where they left off. And then do you want them to be able to view their submissions? No would mean I've submitted it. They cannot see the results. They can't go back in and look at it or anything of the sort. If you select yes, it's saying basically that yes, you want them to be able to view the results of their quiz. Yes would be with correct answers. So if they got it wrong, it's going to say what the right answer was. So if you want them to see how they scored, but you don't want them to know what the correct answer was because maybe you want them to try again, you would want to select yes. Yes with correct answers. If it was a one-time deal, they just get to see basically what the correct answer was. You decide. And then, there's a few other things here at the bottom. Short answer, how many lines do they get? Essay questions, how long will this be? And then just save your changes when you're done. So I'll save that. Preview will allow you to get a preview from the student's point of view to see what that test or that quiz looks like. The results tab, you can actually see all of the students' submissions here. You have a choice to either view it by student and see their score. You can actually override their score here as well. You can view the test from the student by going to view attempts, which of course this student does not have any attempts yet, but I could actually see that as well from here. And then if I didn't want to view it by student, I can actually view it by question and get the kind of a question breakdown. And it would be basically all of your questions listed here. It'd be like the most points earned, the least points earned, and what the average for your class was. You can view responses by question to kind of see what was the most common selected response in this list. Question summary will just give you a little overview, and then there's this view stats menu up at the top as well to kind of see some grading stats. Comments, not often used, but you could write a comment for this test or quiz, and that's the basics of it. So let's go back to our unit folder. That's just an overview of your test or your quiz. Next in this list is file or a link or external tool. Basically, you're putting in a link for the students to access. Discussion boards are great for collaboration in your course, and all you have to do is set a title, give a description. Again, you've got your insert link, insert content, whether that be a YouTube video, an image, media. All of that can be added to the discussion board post. Set your due date. Is this going to be graded? Sometimes you want it to just be a source of collaboration. Other times you want this to be something that's graded. Maybe they're posting a product that they created, so you're actually going to have them discuss the products that they created, but you're also going to grade them. So you can enable grading here. And then you've got some of these same options here at the bottom. Published to students, and this is a really neat one. It looks like a guy with a graduation cap and a stoplight sign. If you enable this, it says require members to post before revealing other responses. So you're making them accountable for posting to the discussion board before they can respond to other people's posts, which is really nice. And then you can create that. And then from the student view, just to kind of give you an idea of what this looks like. I'm going to go to this discussion, and I'm going to write my comment. And other students can like that comment. They can reply to it. Obviously, this is my own, so I can't reply to it. And as the teacher, you'll be able to go in and kind of monitor and reply. You can actually drill down by a particular student to just see their responses in here as well. It kind of helps And if it was graded, you'd be able to assign points here as well. So that is your discussion. You can add a page here. It's just a page of information. Media album, if you had photos you wanted to share. We don't typically use package very often. Like I said before, you can import from resources. Find resources would be in the Schoology public resources section. There may be something of benefit to you. So this has been just a brief overview of the different material types that you can add to your Schoology course. Another thing to note though is the student completion rules. It's next to the add materials button, and student completion rules are basically requirements that make the students complete things in a specific order. So if you wanted to, you could add a requirement where they have to complete this assignment and they need to score at least a certain number of points, or they need to make a submission prior to, before they can go on to another assignment, such as taking this test or quiz. So if you decide to, you can, set the order and make it a little bit more of a scaffolded process as well.